Thank you. All the Republican senators who have joined us. A few had left the building before we decided to schedule this conference. I'm not standing here alone. I'm standing here representing not only the Republican senators, but I'm also representing, and we are representing, the people of Texas. The Speaker of the House just had a press conference. You know, he has a saying that he lets the House be the House. But earlier this evening, he told you that he would not accept legislation that has the support of 80 co-authors on the Privacy Act. He's not letting the House set the agenda. He wouldn't let that bill come to the floor, 2899. He is one person overriding the vast majority of the elected representatives in the House who supported 2899. Last week I told you I would accept House Bill 2899 that had 80 co-authors. It wasn't quite at the same level as Senate Bill 6 by Senator Kolkhorst, but it had strong support of the majority of Texas senators, Texas Republicans. Most importantly, besides 80 co-authors, this issue of Texas privacy has the support of the overwhelming majority of people in Texas, Republican and Democrat, all groups of folks, rural, urban, suburban, black, white, and brown. They don't want their children showering together, boys and girls in the 10th grade, or sharing locker rooms or restrooms. And women want to be protected. Women want to be protected in bathrooms, in government bathrooms across this state. We know that every public and private poll clearly says that. But Speaker Strauss is apparently not concerned about what Texans think, only what he thinks. He says he is compromised enough, but in fact he is not compromised at all. Using the language of left-wing Democrats who oppose this legislation, whose economic arguments have been disproven again and again, he is simply trying to take the ball and go home. For months, the Speaker complained, if we pass a bathroom bill, I might not get my NCAA Final Four. He's lost that argument. They're coming. In fact, the NCAA supports the language of North Carolina, which is now similar to ours. He lost that excuse. He said this would hurt economic prosperity. He's lost that argument because all of those reports have been disproven. He says, I don't want to happen in Texas what happened in North Carolina, but we now know nothing happened in North Carolina. In fact, the latest CEO magazine said the number 3 state that they want to move to, we're number 1 in Texas, is North Carolina. So every argument he had, he's lost. And now he says he's concerned about students. Well, so are we. That's why we supported the House cyberbullying bill. We support those issues. But we're also concerned about all of the kids at school and all of their parents. Instead of siding with the people of Texas, and as a Republican, siding with Republicans of Texas, he's decided to support the policies of Barack Obama, who said, I want boys and girls in every shower in every school in the country. That's good enough for Joe Strauss. It's not good enough for me. It's not good enough for the senators. It's not good enough for the people of Texas. Now, he also said that only the governor can call a special session, and that's right. But as I said last week at my press conference, either the Speaker or the Lieutenant Governor can cause a special session. Well, here's the irony. It's Joe Strauss who's causing the special session. He said earlier he doesn't think is needed. Now, you're saying, Dan, how has that happened? Well, he never brought to the floor the sunset bill for the Texas Medical Board. And if that bill doesn't pass, we won't have any licensed doctors in the state after September. I want to repeat that. He failed to bring the Texas Medical Board to the floor. And we wouldn't have any licensed doctors. So then he had a second chance. asked to pass kind of an emergency bill that would take care of that. Oh, but he missed the deadline. And he couldn't pass that bill. And so now he said, we'll have a fix. I'll send the Senate another bill. And even someone who's only in their first day of taking a parliamentary course would recognize the language he stuck on, Senate Bill 80, is not germane. So Joe Strauss is the one causing a special session. I'm just allowing it to happen. Lastly, the Speaker says that this is an absurd issue. He's wrong. Folks back home don't think it's absurd. It's not about discrimination. It's about common decency, common sense, privacy. The issue over time has risen to the point where the people back home are demanding us to take action on it. He says he passed a bill last week that should address the schools, but the Dallas Morning News said the House bill does nothing. The Texas School Board Association and Texas Administrative Association says the bill did nothing. But he says that's as far as I'm going. So I'm going to say again tonight what I said last week. There are two must-pass bills, or I will allow the mistakes of the Speaker to put us into a special session. And I will ask the governor to put privacy and property tax relief on the call. Now, we do have a conference committee coming up on that. But Joe has said, I'm not going to let any bill come to the floor that rolls back the rollback rate of 8%. He said, I'm not going to let the people have a direct vote. So he's wrong on those issues too, out of step with the folks of Texas. We were willing to negotiate. We were willing to work. But he laid down the gauntlet tonight. And I don't think the people of Texas, and I hope the members of the House are going to tolerate one man standing alone behind a microphone telling his members what they're going to do. We're telling the people what they can't have. Property tax relief and privacy are the two issues we must pass. If not, we will be in a special session caused by Joe Strauss himself. And if something were to happen that Greg Abbott has to make the final decision, tonight I'm making it very clear, Governor, I want you to call us back in your timing so that we can address policies that Republican voters and Democrat voters and African Americans and Hispanics and Anglo Americans, Asian, that we all in Texas want to have passed. I'll close with this. You know, I often think about how blessed I am to be in this position. We all are. We know it. I'm so proud of these senators. They've taken tough votes on property tax relief, on Texas privacy. They've taken these votes. I'm proud of their work, and they should feel proud. I think their constituents back home are proud. But I can only speak for myself. This is a rare blessing we have to serve. 31 senators, 20 of those Republicans, representing 27 million people. And as Lieutenant Governor, I pinch myself every day when I come to work that I have this opportunity. One day I'll retire, and I'll be sitting on my porch in that rocking chair with my grandkids. I don't want to ever look back and say, once I had the opportunity and the power to make Texas better, and I didn't have what it took to stand up to one man who was trying to undermine these two important public policy issues. It's now time. It's now time to get this done. There's still time, but boy, it's running short. Any questions? We'll take two questions.
So, are you willing to negotiate with the passing bill, as the Speaker said? I mean, is it not a dead issue?
We have 80 co-authors that support 2899. He needs to pass 2899. That would protect women in government bathrooms protect our kids in schools, and would eliminate the current policies in place. You don't negotiate with yourself when you have 80 co-authors. Just bring the bill to the floor. And it's late now, but we can find a way to suspend rules, or we can find a way to amend something out of bounds in conference to get this done.
Last
Mike?
question, how do you get it to the floor over there, though? He said he's not going.
Well, I'm just making the point that he has the membership ready to vote for that bill.
Isn't it true that neither side's gonna blink on this, so.
No, you're wrong. Wait, the media's wrong. You're saying neither side. I see Jeff Leach standing there. Jeff, I think you all have 80 votes for that bill, right? Yeah, the House members are ready. It's not as if there's not support for that issue. We can find a way on a bill to go out of bounds in conference, and they have a straight up or down vote on the floor. And with 80 co-authors, that would mean you have 76 votes. It can happen. And on property tax, we're going to conference. We want a rollback rate. We want the people to vote when their property taxes go up more than a certain percentage. Can we negotiate? Maybe it's the top 20 counties where the most population lives and where it's the largest problem. We're willing to look at those things. But the people don't want us to come home with a job unfinished. They want us to stay here and get the job done. And so thanks to Joe Strauss, we're going to have a special session that he created. Thank you all very much. Let's go.